The Winter Widow, written by Annemarie Brear, read by Dawn Murphy. The moral right of the author has been asserted. This performance is owned by Magna. Chapter 1. Springwood Farm, North Yorkshire, England. September 1852. Caroline Lawson opened the gate leading from the milking shed to the field beyond, and stepped aside to allow her 2 cows, Buttercup and Clover, to slowly wander from cobbles to grass. Clover bellowed loudly in the still dawn air, and, satisfied she'd made her presence known, decided to rub her neck on the fence post. "Go on, girl." Caroline pushed her away. "Let me shut the gate, or you and Buttercup will be in the yard eating the last of my flowers." With the gate secured, Caroline leaned her elbows on top of it and stared out over the fields to the rising sun in a pink and orange sky. Summer weather had lingered into the first week of September, and she was grateful for it. Her days were sad enough without bad weather to add to it. Sighing deeply, she turned and went into the milking shed and collected the full bucket of milk. Roger, the rooster, crowed from the dung heap behind the stable, shattering the quietness of the morning. Crossing the dirt yard, she entered the dairy shed and placed the bucket into a large stone sink filled with cold water, to keep the milk cool until she could come back to it later, to begin the strength-snapping task of churning the milk into butter. In the barn next to the dairy shed, she grabbed a bowl of grain and went to feed the chickens on the other side of the yard, near the low-walled kitchen garden she tended to so happily. "Good morning, ladies," Caroline sang to the hens, opening the door to their pen. Some hens eagerly rushed for the open space of the yard, while some waited, knowing she'd feed them, and 2 hens stayed on their nests, sitting on eggs. She tutted, "What have I told you 2?" She brushed them off their eggs. "You're not having chicks at this time of the year." Carefully placing the half-dozen eggs into her apron pockets, she sprinkled a handful of grain inside the pen before going out to scatter more over the yard. Such mundane jobs usually brought her joy, but happiness had vanished from her and the farm since her husband died 4 weeks ago. A rusty nail piercing his boot, days of agony and fever, and a week of her caring for her darling Hugh, and finally his painful death, were the contents of her nightmares. She still couldn't believe it had happened. How could a strapping man in his prime
Sample complete. Ready to continue?